accountant, and he went on a rampage, I guess you would call it. He was very upset about the state of the city finances, and he said that we approved the deficit budget. Well, no, we didn't. I don't know anybody that would approve a deficit budget, because if it was deficit, you wouldn't have a reason to have a budget. Anyway, John Russell, Attorney John Russell, sent out to the aldermen, and I'll read it, a letter. Monroe City Board of Aldermen, dear Aldermen, I am writing you as a group to express concerns that I have about the city of Monroe City. I am sure that many of you share the same concerns. I have concerns about what is being paid at City Hall. Wes mentioned concerns about the council failing to oversee city finances, but I am concerned about the lack of information that seems to be coming to the council. I've talked to a few of you who share my same concern that no bills payable was on the agenda at the last meeting. RSMO 79.300, and I have attached a copy for your reference, states that the city treasurer in a fourth-class city cannot pay bills without approval from the council. So I believe the council should be inquiring as to how any city invoices are being paid. In short, I feel like the city needs to implement additional measures to ensure that financial accountability is taking place. While the statute to me is clear, it might be prudent to require bank statements at each meeting, along with double-signed checks requiring the signature of the council member as well. These are just a few of the ideas that I have. And if he said if we had any additional questions, we could reach out to him. So, I mean, how does everybody else feel?
An explanation to that, Alderman Osborne, we were getting bills payable that had already been paid. The bills payable should be presented to us for approval to pay. So before they're paid, we need to approve them. And so that is the proper procedure for bills payable.
Right, the city can't, so I made a list, I sent it to Jason about an hour ago. The city cannot legally pay any bills without council approval. So the city's gonna need a list of bills payable before any checks are cut. So that's I put it in my letter. I think that letter was a couple weeks ago. But that's a major red flag. You cannot pay bills unless the council approves it. That keeps everything accountable to the elected officials. So as you know, in a fourth-class city, the power rests with the council. So the council needs to be seeing every bill for the city. I wrote up a list of things that I think the council should be looking at every meeting. I'd be happy to go through that with the members if you want, but
well, I mean, I just mentioned a few things. Copies of the bank statements, written copies of written images of written checks, and then of course the current financials at every meeting.
So I've spoke with city administration, and they are aware that September 20th, next Thursday night meeting, we will have bills payable to approve before checks are sent out. And that will be the practice moving forward.
Ideas I had, I think 48 hours before each meeting, the council and the mayor need a packet emailed to them that includes the agenda, prior month's bank statements, all check images, bills payable, along with invoices for each bill, so you can actually see what you're paying. I mean, and looking over some of the checks, there, you know, there's no memo on the subject line. So I mean, when you look at the bank statements, I couldn't tell. I had to go sit down and talk about what did this check even go for. So we need, when the city, 2 days before the meeting, I'd request an invoice for each bill with a breakdown of what it's for in that paper copy of the invoice. I would also require a financial statement from the city broken down by category. We had these not that long ago, showing the last fiscal year expenditures for each category, current budget amounts, what the budget is for each category in the statement. Also, where we are through this point in the fiscal year in each category. So, for example, like the finances last meeting showed the police department spending $100,000 a month, and I talked to the chief, like, there's no way that's right. I mean, we had city court spending $40,000 a month, and the county runs that for us. So there's things going in that to me cannot be right. I mean, city court doesn't cost the city anything, and it showed we spent $40,000. So the ledger sheet is not being maintained, in my opinion. I'd want a pay chart listing all your employees, their hourly rate, how much overtime they've received each year. And then I'd demand a delinquent utility list with the amounts due and an anticipated shut-off date for each delinquent utility account. It's my understanding we've got some major delinquent utilities, and I know we've had problems, but that can destroy our budget in a heartbeat. So, as a council, my recommendation would be to require all that information provided to you 48 hours in advance of the meeting, and then I'd want a binder for each member that also has paper copies of all that information at each meeting. So those are some suggestions that I have.
Thank you, John. Alderman Osborne?
And then I also had, like, I think we need to have spending freeze, no spending without council approval.
So my understanding, this was voted and implemented several meetings ago? Yes.
Yeah.
So has there been any spending moving forward?
Okay. And then you need open lines of communication, make sure no secretive things by Lawyer's back. We're a team that needs to work together. I mean, contrary to belief, nobody's trying to point the finger at anybody. I mean, the past is the past. We need to move forward. And then we need to, I think, to look for ways that we can cut back on spending, you know, cut excess spending. Don't look for new ways to spend money. We need to find things to cut back on. So that was the notes that I had.
Do we have anything else with administration that needs to be discussed?
Well, I think we need a plan. One, how are our books going to get caught up? And two, when are we going to get an audit done? Because in order for our bond issue for the electricity to move forward, we have to get our books in a condition where they can be audited and approved, or else our bonds won't be able to be sold on the secondary market. Standard & Poor's or whoever rates our bonds cannot give us a rating without having books that can be audited. So if we can't get a rating, I mean, we can't have bonds. So we need a plan now, I mean, I'd say in the next week of how that's gonna happen, or else we won't be having any bonds for an electric department upgrades, which everybody knows we really need. I mean, the voters passed it overwhelmingly, so I mean, the citizens see that need as well. But we've got to have a plan to get our books straightened out.
And on that note, on a sour note, our accountant has quit. So moving forward, we need to hire another.
He was a certified CPA, wasn't he?
Before an audit can be done, before an auditor will even touch us, we have to have our finances in order. So the step before the audit is finances in order.
But I mean, we need a plan to do that. I mean,
that would be.
And I mean, like I said, I mean, it's going to involve recoding all kinds of expenses that just, in my view, have been put in the wrong categories.
Which Wes did a lot of that, didn't he? Or coding and.
He was beginning to work on that, but there's a lot of deposits that are not even implemented into the general ledger.
Were they made to the bank?
Yeah, no, they're in the bank. They're just not in our general ledger. That's one reason why we have the difficulty on trying to understand.
I had heard too that you all had found some checks for bills that never were mailed.
Correct.
For the sales tax,
Yep.
things like that.
I found checks just this week. That was on Monday morning. The staff brought to me, they were looking for something else, and happened to go back into the room where the auditor or the accountant was working, and in the corner where the old auditor had been here, the one from Kansas City. In that particular box, there were a handful of stack of checks that are on my desk right now. Some of them were Missouri State Department of Revenue that hadn't been paid in 2021. There were checks to individuals that had not been paid. They were signed by the previous mayor and Christine, and they haven't been mailed. And so there was also over $5,000 worth of deposits that were not deposited. So now I have to find out if we can get those checks reissued, but they're from 22, 21, either one of those 2 years.
$500,000 worth, you said?
No, $5,000 worth,
Oh.
deposited, not deposited. But I mean, usually checks are after 90 days, they're no
Right.
longer void. No, I mean, they're no longer
And
void.
they don't have to,
They don't have to, but I can
hopefully.
go back and ask, and that's all I can do, is ask for that being reissued. So, I mean, so that derails me and puts me on another track to try to get those as well.
Did you happen to catch if they were covered in any other entries?
I got started on one of them, and there had been, it was for retirement, there was retirement that had been a lump sum that I did find. But again, that's a delay in, we're taking that out of people's payroll, and then not actually applying it, and so not as practice either for retirement, because of interest.
Have we heard from the state on the sales tax?
Just got in today at 4 o'clock, I got the instructions, and so I'll be able to get into that today, or starting tomorrow. You know, had to stop and start doing copies and get this, yeah, I just got notification on that.
So how far back have sales tax not been paid?
As of right now, the state of Missouri has only sent me to 2022, the beginning of 2022. The one that I ran across that was 2021, for $15,000. I hope when I get in there, I found that it was lumped up, because I haven't seen that yet. And you would think that they would send me a 21 one before they would send me a 22. I would hope, knowing this day.
I know you're all here and you have many questions. I'll try to take a few. I see a few hands raised. Otherwise, we will be here all night and we really have a lot of work to do. Mr. Rottweiler?
I have a question. I've heard by rumor, some people came in, especially as early as January, complained about their utility bill, they got a discount on that utility bill they paid. Is that true? Because the only one to give a discount on a utility bill is the 6 people sitting up there.
Right, correct.
So am I wrong? Was I misquoted or mistold?
Maybe our city administrator can give us clarification. I know she's been a stickler. They have been trying to work with people and go through bills and find out where the error is. And I would hope that no discounts were given without council approval.
Yeah, she was.
Forgot it wasn't here in January. So, I can't.
Then I can't fully answer that. this
I
part.
think my husband was told today when he tried to come pay his bill, our bill, that they had given discounts in the past, a couple months, but no longer do we allow any more.
Yes, yeah.
So we gave some, but now we don't want to do anymore, and so the rest of us don't get any.
It's
Can I
not-
say something, what her husband was told?
Sure.
He was told that we couldn't do discounts anymore, that we were told that we cannot adjust anybody's bill, we cannot do anything, that they need to talk to their alderman and the mayor, that we are not allowed to move forward, we cannot touch anybody's bill, do anybody's adjustment, it all has to go to the
Anymore,
council.
anymore.
And that's
Anymore.
correct.
We did it-
That's right.
We done it like 2 weeks ago, but we're not doing it now.
But
Well, that's
to
good.
clarify, I think it had been done downstairs prior to coming to the council. And
Yeah,
that was
I agree.
in full practice.
Yeah.
Just because that's how it has
Just a little
historically
unfair
been
to the
done.
rest of us that wanted to just pay the bill.
I also think that we need to understand the terminology. In G-Works, we do adjustments or corrections, and someone may interpret that as a discount. But that is because of going back and rereading the meter after we've asked for rereads or we verified because of pulling out of the meter. So that is where, again, terminology may have gotten misconstrued.
Thank you. Okay. One more.
I'll be.
Debbie?
Mayor, council, I'd like to segue back to the first part of the conversation that you all were having about the audit situation. Have you ever considered as a council looking amongst the community, and we almost got 70 people in here, and forming an advisory board that help you guys through this mess? Because it's a lot, and you guys don't work full time for the city. You do your time and more than your time now, but would you consider getting an advisory board to help you work through this mess?
Certainly. We're open to suggestions. Ally Bennett reached out, is she here by chance? Is Ally here anywhere? Okay. Ally Bennett reached out to me, and she's just been a wonderful support for me and gave me a list of 30 auditors. So we're gonna, send out a request for qualifications for those auditors and try to get one pinned. But there again, we don't have clear financials for an auditor to even work
And
with
that's what
right
I
now.
mean by an advisory board. Let them help you get that stuff pulled together. There's a lot of brilliant people in this town. I'm not one of them to top them back. There's people here that could probably be a great asset to the council.
Well, and there's been a lot of people that I've been reading, dismay on Facebook, and I don't blame them, so I would hope that some of those people would step up then and help.
They should. Just a suggestion.
Rusty Walkwater, to answer your question, I know a bill was paid and reduced from a business in town that shouldn't have been reduced. There was problems with them in the past, and come to find out our utility bill sent the meter in and got the meter back, and there was nothing wrong with the meter. The members of the council wrote off money that shouldn't have been wrote off to that. And I had happened to hear a while back that I wasn't aware of it, honest with you. And I heard Tabitha there wrote it off because the mayor said, write it off, family restaurant.
Absolutely not.
But that's what,
Absolutely not, because I was not in favor of the first write-off to the family restaurant.
So guys, that's
That's what-
history. You need to look.
We gotta move forward.
Let's make sure we're not saying hearsay comments in this meeting, make sure it's a factual statement before it comes out of your mouth.
Well, I think the biggest thing is everybody wants to be treated fair.
And I would agree.
And, for some to get a write-off, it's not fair for the guy down the street, down on the other end of town, they're like that, no matter how big the bill is.
And what we're running to, unfortunately, is every time we do something, well, that's how they done it before. And then when we realize it was not proper practice and we try to move forward with the right thing, then it's not fair for the ones that got the special treatment. But we gotta stop it somewhere. We can't continue to do bad practice. So it's very unfortunate that some people got a discount if they did, and now moving forward, we can't do it. But we can't moving forward. We cannot. So we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, no, please, I think I know what you're gonna.
No. I just think that John made some very good points and gave you guys some great ideas to move forward with. And I believe it probably give all the citizens a sense of comfort knowing that these practices are being put in place. From month to month, there will be some consistency.
Mhm.
So I would wish the council would go on record and actually make a vote to adopt some of those practices from where council meetings.
I think it's
Can we read it
policy
off?
and procedure that's already in place that
Well,
hasn't
I
been
know, but
followed.
it's not being followed apparently, so.
So just a reiteration and kind of thing
We
to
all agree, we're all gonna,
Yeah.
yeah.
council?
Want me to read off my list? Somebody put it into a motion.
Sure, go ahead.
So 48 hours before each meeting, the following shall be provided to the mayor, the council, and the city attorney via email. 1, the meeting agenda. 2, prior month's bank statement. 3, check images from the previous month. 4, bills payable with a copy of the invoice for each bill. 5, financial statement for each category in the budget showing A, last fiscal year expenditures, B, current budget amount, C, current fiscal year expenditures by category. And then we're down to 6, current pay chart for all employees and their overtime usage year to date. And 7, a delinquent utility list with A, amounts due, and B, an anticipated shut-off date. And that needs to be provided to every council member, the mayor, the city attorney, 48 hours before the meeting, and then again in a binder for everybody at the meeting. So somebody wants to make
clear
that.
ownership of those items?
Excuse me?
Do we have clear ownership of those items? Do the people responsible know that they're responsible?
Whose job it is.
We have city clerk, city administrator, and a city clerk too. So whose job will be to prepare those documents? City administrator. Do I have a motion, council?
Some of those I can't do on a every meeting basis, because you're getting the exact same document over again, such as the bank statement. The bank statement is on a monthly basis, not on a weekly basis. So I would be, I mean,
Yeah, so
that's fine, I can do, that's based on once a month. And then the delinquents, I think would probably be able to be updated. I was thinking that's a monthly one too, because of monthly billing for utilities, but I think that I can do. I could give an actual copy of the check register from the online banking, if that would still suffice as well.
So if it's a standard 30-day report, it will be at one council meeting.
Yeah, first of the month.
Have a motion?
I got a question here. Me?
Yes.
Okay, now you wrote down here in the administration. Agatha is in charge of administration, right?
Yes.
Okay, what is her duty as being an administrator? Long time ago, administrator don't have to do anybody at all. What he does is he just take care the different departments and do the budget and turn it into the contract. Did she ever do that?
Timothy, did you copy a list of your duties in our packet, I think? Yeah.
There's an ordinance on my job description, it's on the website.
Okay, so Marvin, you can reference her job description on the website, it's in an ordinance, the ordinance, city administrator's duties.
And she's supposed to enforce whatever on the manual. You know, if something happened to the employee, she needs to enforce, okay, you guys not doing your job, I'm the administrator, let's
Right.
go.
She is the supervisor of all departments.
Does even in every department every day or whatever.
So what is your question?
My question is, she's not doing part of her duty being an administrator.
How would you know she's not doing her duty if you're not here every day? Okay, we're gonna move forward. We're
Can
gonna
I
move
make a
forward.
comment?
Well, see, there you go.
Yes.
Right now, her priorities are a little different.
I'm done.
Okay. Her priorities are to get us through the audit moving forward so we can collect against our bond.
Okay, then something else that's brought to my attention for a fourth class city in chapter 79, the financials have to get published in the paper. So, at budget time, I know that gets done, but I'm just,
We get it finished for motion.
Yeah, we need a
Yeah.
I seconded it.
Get a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Had a derailment there. All right, that's fine.
okay, so that's all the, and then the other bullets on here, financial and budget situation resolutions, which I think pretty much we talked about how to get other things back on track with the administration part, and then Tam and I had a packet with some of this administrative or budget items
Yes.
for the upcoming budget that's due in what time.
Tamika, I do have a question. So the 22-23 budget, this is the budget and not actuals where we're at now? Can you clarify?
Are you on the very last page of the?
I'm on this,
Yeah, that was the budget.
the budget.
Yeah, but that's what I had been handed when I came to.
Which you were handed, okay, so this was not prepared by you, this was something that was already done by previous, okay. So-
It'll have a column on the left that will say the last year's budget, you'll have actual, and then you'll have within the year's budget, and then you'll have notation by everyone as a line item, so you know what they are.
Okay, thank you.
Melissa, could you tell us what was said?
Yeah, because we can't hear.
Okay.
Can we get
So
them to
she
step
said-
out a little so we can hear?
So I asked her on the 22-23 budget on this paper that runs this way, was this budget or actuals? And she said it was budget. She did not prepare this. This was already here when she came into office. The budget, the numbers that she has come up with are the papers that look like this.
Were those handed out?
Because they're a working budget.
It's a working budget. They're not our actuals. Our next Thursday meeting,
The only thing that you all have is last year's budget, or the previous ones all the way back to 2018, because that's what I was handed when I came in. So what the council has, because Wes and I were in the process, and we just finished up going and meeting with each one of the department heads, going through what they had in CapEx, what they projected that they wanted from last year's CapEx, current CapEx that they wanted, and then what they wanted in the budget. And we were looking over what was actually in the general ledger that we have, which is not good, and we were finding the postings that were in error. Wes was to this week supposedly work on putting what we had discussed with each one of the department heads into an actual document that we could then sit down with each one, with the council members, and actually go through the budget so that we could see whether or not they had additional changes, additions, things like that. We had various organizations from the community that had submitted. Those are in that document or in their paperwork. So this was actually kind of blew into a bigger concept since Wes is not here. So now I'm gonna have to take and get into, and my budgets look a little bit different than by far these. I usually have, we found that there are accounts that are not identified. That was very obvious when I was working with the mayor on the library's budget, or talking with her about the library, because she was wanting to know for the library's budget. They had legal fees in office supplies. Why you have legal fees and office supplies, I have no idea, but there is no actual a line item for legal fees. So those kinds of things will have to be added to G-Works as we go forward, which is our accounting program. So I do my budget a lot different, that if it's something that we do on a repeated basis, or it's something that is of the normal standard in regards to practice of accounting, you're gonna have a line item for it and budget for it, whether you use it or not, it'll be in there. You will see last year's budget, you'll see the current actual to date in where we are when I actually begin to pull the numbers together with the projections in the next year's budget of anticipation that if we're mailing out something on a monthly basis and it costs us this, and we have budgeted this amount for mailing and we're actually at this, I'm gonna project what it might be coming up, because I still have 2 more months if I'm in the month of August, and I know I still have August and September to finish. Does that make sense? So that's how I do my budget. So that's what you're gonna see a lot different. You'll have a general overview of a general fund budget, but you'll also have each department will have their own individual same categories within each one of them for theirs in regards to theirs. So it will be a much thicker packet, and it will also be much more broken down.
How can you do a budget when things haven't been posted appropriately?
I'm going to do a lot of projection because there are some parts of it that have not, like deposit parts haven't. Most of the expenditures Wes could find that had been in there, because I'll probably most likely go off of the actual bank statements and figure it from that component against what they had actually budgeted for each one of the departments, and then go from there. So this year is going to be a little bit tougher. That's one reason why it's taken me a lot longer to do, and that's why I've been working on everything else and then getting hit with sales tax. So now, unfortunately, I have a much bigger platter to look at this next week.
Council, is this the first time, this is the
Yes.
first time we have laid eyes
So I'm
on
in the
these
effect.
papers?
Yes.
So I would, Alderman Bachman, what were you gonna say?
Do we need to go out and solicit for a account right now?
I would really like that.
Right now, and
Yeah, I need
make a
to-
motion, I can get that out for, and,
I would really like that. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Now, the one thing that you can do, and Wes and I have talked about it, because, you can actually pass the current budget that we have from this last year into October, so it keeps the fiscal operations going, but then be able to print, or actually give us time to actually get everything figured into an actual budget, and then bring it back in October and actually have a full-blown budget. And to modify it, you can do that.
So this would just be a temporary.
It's temporary,
account.
like you pull over for a temporary so that it continues.
Well, I mean, the account would just be temporary to get it lined out, and then we would do it.
No, you need an accountant.
I'll make a motion that we go out for bids or, applications for a accountant. It'll be 3 weeks.
Can I have clarification on that motion? Are you talking about a full-time, all the time, permanent position, or a temporary position to get financials in order?
I'd say full-time what the situation is for now.
So you're saying for now?
Yeah.
Just
Full-time, yeah, make it a full-time position since we're in such a.
Okay.
Oh, that's what, a lot.
I mean, because we're gonna have a lot of work. One, just getting in and learning how everything is broken out and not posted correctly and in the wrong spots and that kind of stuff is gonna take that accountant a little bit of time in regards to being able to pull us into our next actual fiscal budget. So, and then keeping us on that track because of getting us ready for an audit. I mean, we need somebody who's full-time, that's in here.
Can we afford
Okay. So I have a motion to hire a full-time accountant. Do I have a second? And a second?
To accept bids.
Accept bids. The question on the floor is, can we afford that? I don't know how we could afford not to.
Well,
We don't get an audit.
well, just one question, please. Just one question.
Why don't we look to hire an accounting, get proposals from accounting firms that can then do our audit as well?
Like consulting firm, they can't audit themselves.
Have
They
we,
could recommend an accountant that would work with them, but they can't audit themselves.
I think the,
So they would,
Just
and that's
one
what I had talked to the mayor about when I got that list from Ally, to go out for bids to those auditors with a recommendation of who could do an accounting service for us, that when they're done, then they'll pick it up and audit. But you can't have an auditing firm do the accounting at the same time.
No, but if a firm has books that have been prepared by another firm, it's
Right,
gonna be
and that's what I
easy
was
to
saying,
audit.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Tim, can I just clarify a question? So I think we have policies and procedures that the attorney talked about that we gotta get fixed. Are we confident in our chart of accounts? Or is it good now?
The money is, I mean, I know how much we have in the bank account, yes. With the sweeps, we're sitting at about 3 mil, is where we're at, 3.6 mil is where we're sitting. But we also, if the sales tax is where I think it is, we owe the state about 1 mil, 1.2 mil. And that's just a projection. But we also have not collected all of the utilities, which then is the utility tax. So, I mean, that's why I need help with an attorney, with an accountant.
The actuals, we're gonna have those. Like, when will we be confident with actuals?
With not having an accountant right now and trying to find an accountant that's willing to work with us, I mean, it took me, what, a month, 2 months, at least 2 months to find an accountant the last time.
I would be willing to donate my accountant's assistance, time, and some of our financial spreadsheets if it will help.
Thank you, Chuck.
Anybody else have any suggestions before we go to
As long as she's okay with it.
the?
I think you will.
Is she here?
No.
You might wanna call and check that.
Well, time before it gets started.
We can,
I think there's other CPAs
But at least, get the charter of accounts, you know.
Yes,
Get something where you got something around the
Because there's a difference.
Yeah.
The CPA is gonna cost the city $60,000 at least a year, because they went to college and they took this like legal exam, and CPAs are very expensive, where an accountant just has a simple 4-year term, and most likely will willing to come in, and accounting is just a matter of getting your lines, like you said, organized, library, legal fees, and you're the city's your accountant. Accounting, it shouldn't be that difficult to come in and get it straightened out
Yeah.
in order.
just from what I've seen, my opinion, we need like a bookkeeper, like Chuck's talking about. So you just come in and get your lines correct, get your expenses put in the right categories. That has not been happening. I don't,
And,
It's a debit and a credit.
okay,
Yeah.
wait a minute, so I don't think you guys understand the mess and for how long it's been a mess when you say, oh,
No,
it's simple.
I'm not blowing it off, I'm just saying the CPA.
I understand, we need an accountant, we need an
Right,
accountant.
but when you're saying CPA, I'm sitting here thinking, if she's saying 3 million, 1 million for taxes, we're talking 60,000, 80,000 a year.
Right, we need an accountant right now, and then the audit.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
And then a firm, firms are willing to work with you, being a small community, we have tax firms, Elmira, Monroe, look within the community and work. There's, the community's willing to help and work out, look within our own walls and see.
So,
Are there accounting firms that specialize in municipalities?
Yes.
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 Yeah, like
Yes.
people services, is there accounting firm you hire
Yes.
just for cities
Yes.
or?
MML has those.
Because school.
They don't have those?
Missouri Municipal League has a resource. I just went to a training last week.
And I think I was on the phone with Forrest Gossett, because he's in my back pocket for advice all the time. And he asked me, he said, Mayor, do you think it's time that you reach out and get a consulting firm? And I do. I personally feel like it's time to get a consulting firm in here, because the problems and the issues are huge. They're bigger than any of us can fathom right now. And every day it's something new. Mr. Pelker.
Why don't you form a committee to research the accounting firms in the area, get bids, and pick the best bid based on the reputation of the accounting firm? That's how we do it in the VFW. We do a committee, we research it, we find the one we like, we vote on the one we want, and then we bring them in. Sign them to a contract for how many ever years they want to agree to, then you're locked in for that amount of time, and you have a grace period to pick another accounting firm if they want to back out.
I would be in favor of that, for one, because we're involving the community and the taxpayers' dollars themselves, and that really helps with transparency. So I would be totally in favor of that
They
idea.
need to be specialized in municipalities.
Yes.
Have you ever talked about going,
Mr.
Than
McElroy?
just a regular accountant.
That's why you have a research committee, to research the credentials of the people that are calling in on your bids.
Thank you, yes. Mr. McElroy, and then we're gonna.
have you ever thought about getting a hold of the state auditor's office? See if they can come in and help us? I know they can. I know they.
I mean, that's what, I talked to Center's city attorney yesterday, and that's what they recommended too. So
I
they're
mean,
an
it,
option.
that's a simple solution. They've been here once. They know what we're doing. They know where we were.
Timothy, have you called them? State auditor called us? Okay. You're making.
I called them.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it's pretty, I know they probably will charge, but they know about our mess from the last time they were here.
I sure would like to find the guy that started the audit and didn't complete it, that just ran away with our money.
That wasn't the state.
No.
No.
The state audit, the last state audit was done was a performance audit, and it was
Correct.
in 2019.
Correct.
Where they just told us practices that we needed to improve on, or
Correct.
discontinue doing. Right now, we're
Correct.
talking about a financial audit.
And nobody did that.
Right.
So, I mean, I just,
There was one hired to do that, and he went MIA on us.
I know, yes.
Doesn't the city have to have an audit every year though?
No, not required.
It's not
But
required.
very highly suggested.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Probably what
Hey, and we're trying to do things, we're.
No, I know, that's why I asked this question. I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking 4 or 5 years ago, that's why I asked, what
Yeah.
could they have done every year?
But-
Okay, that answers the question.
Yes.
But if the attorneys already said that Center's done that, they were in problems, maybe it's just as simple, as, hey, give them a call before
Yeah.
you all decide to do anything.
I mean, we can move forward with the motion, get proposals, but I'm happy to find out who they use and call tomorrow.
Okay. So we had a motion, did we get a second to hire an accountant, full-time accountant? Yes, we had a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Let's take
To
proposals.
accept bids.
I'm fine with bids, but not hiring until we see what we
Okay.
have.
So the motion is to accept bids to fill the position for an accountant. All those in favor? Any opposed?
And then we're gonna check.
Motion carries.
What Gary said about,
Yeah, called state audit.
Yeah, so we'll see what their proposal is.
Okay, since the council we are all just laying eyes on this. I don't know, I think it's presumptuous for us to have any conversations on this at this time. Council, what are your thoughts? Do we start conversations next Thursday night and let you have a chance to review these numbers? Okay. All right. Excuse me?
Are those sheets gonna be available next Thursday?
Can you have these available next week?
We don't have any budget from the staff.
If they wanna see this too, what we're working on.
Oh, they would, yeah.
Yes, next Thursday night, yes, is the answer to your question.
Current numbers for Thursday night.
What kind of numbers?
So be the most current numbers possible.
Yes, the most current numbers possible.
You wanna see if there's any other questions? Or suggestions?
Any other questions or suggestions? Okay. I tell you what, we're gonna set a limit of 10 minutes. So if I call on you, you've got a couple of minutes, give me your auctioneer voice and get it out. Right.
Do you have, and please, let's talk about moving forward, let's talk about the past. Do you have public members on a administrative committee that reports to you guys? Because 10 years ago, the Board of Aldermen at that point in time depended upon the administration committee reports, public safety reports. Without going further in detail, those were members of at least one alderman and members that the mayor nominated and the board approved. And it kind of goes back to what Debbie said. You have people out here with knowledge and skills and experience that are more than glad to help. You only have to ask.
Yes, we do. We do have those boards and we do have members of the public on those boards. And Ronnie, that's kind of funny. When I first became mayor and I made calls to get different individuals on those boards, I had a hell of a time getting yeses at that time. I'm just gonna be honest with you, man.
You've got everybody's attention now. Maybe you won't have that problem going forward.
There's a sign-in sheet back there if you're interested in being on a board or helping out with
Put
some
that
of this.
board's name
Write
next to
your
it.
name down.
Yep.
And we'll be in touch. Give us a contact number.
I've already volunteered to
Yes,
one of my
ma'am.
aldermen.
Thank you, Ronnie.
My name is Laura Yost Coon. I live at 321 East Roger Street. And I didn't hear a motion made and passed about, formal, about having a committee directly responsible for.
We didn't. We didn't do that. We are asking, put down by your name on the sign-in sheet if you are interested. And then next Thursday, we will discuss that.
Okay.
Linda?
I would like to know when you all are going to follow the sunshine law and provide information to the citizens of this city. I've asked numerous times to all of you, emailed all of you without answers. For minutes, for committee minutes, for financials, and this has gone on since you've been mayor. I've worked with administrations here for 40, 50 years, never ever had a problem getting information until recently.
To be honest with you, it might have been that we couldn't find any minutes.
You don't take minutes?
It started before you.
Yeah.
It was the same way with Parkwood.
As far as the website is concerned, I'm asking about not the website. The website is.
No, Linda, wait a minute,
totally
it's to do with your question though. The minutes and the agenda should be posted on the website, that's what we have a website for, but,
April's the last.
wait a minute, please raise your hand before you speak. We didn't have access, we didn't have admin rights to even get into our website because the previous person in that position did not give us that, so Adrian, go ahead and finish, which.
I've just now got the information to figure out how to get in there, reset users and passwords, and upload that information for the public.
I understand that, but when someone emails you and asks you for minutes that have been presented to the council, those are available. That has nothing to do with the website. It's unfortunate that they're not posted on the website, but you had the opportunity to email me minutes, to email other people that have requested that. People should not have to go to the Attorney General when you've been each and every one of you emailed repeatedly.
And when I did a follow-up with the previous city clerk, she had told me that all those minutes had been provided to you.
I have emailed you since that city clerk.
And I think you need to check my email because I haven't got any emails from you, Ms. Geist.
I emailed what's on the city webpage.
Okay, well.
And that's part of the problem too, is you don't have official emails. You have them going to Yahoo addresses, Gmail addresses, whatever, they're not official. And maybe that's a way of hiding correspondence, I don't know. But
Absolutely not.
It's not a good way to conduct business.
I would agree.
You know, to be something at monroecity.org instead of.
So did you not get anything from previous administration then when you made the request for some minutes?
From previous, yes, but not this administration.
So I guess I would ask you to put in a sunshine request, come in City Hall and get that form and fill it out, and let's move forward and try to get that information for you now. Now we're all aware that Mrs. Geist requests that information, okay?
I brought this to the council's attention once before, and I have emailed sunshine requests.
Okay, then moving forward, we're gonna work on that for you. Thank you, yep. Okay, and I apologize for that, and we'll get that figured out for you. We'll get those minutes.
Maybe you can help us get ironed out on the official email address, the official ones that we need in the websites, and you can be on a committee to help us.
Well, it's not just for me, it's for anybody, any member of the public should be able to request that and not have to go through this.
So, but I mean, hopefully are you wanting to be on a committee to help us?
Sure, I'll help you in any way.
Okay.
But, and I also asked once before to be on the agenda and was not even given a response to that. So, you know, you all have to respond to the citizens in this way.
All right, moving forward. We are going into executive session.
It's on the bottom.
Well, the budget next week that you're gonna issue have all of the funds on it, because the one that we've got right now doesn't.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, all right. If there's nothing else, do I have a motion to adjourn? I have a motion, do I have a second?
It doesn't say what it's
Motion and a
about.
second to adjourn, all those in favor, roll call vote. Alderman Saunders?
There's no listing here
Alderman
saying.
Osborne, Alderman Butler, Alderman Green, Alderman Moss. Motion adjourned, thank you all.